guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm creating this blue eyeshadow look, and I'm also using the NICOLE GUERRIERO glow kit, which I was super excited for. So to find out how I did it, just keep on watching. First I'm going in with eyeshadow primer, and I'm blending that from the lid all the way up to the brow bone. Then for eyeshadow, I decided to use the Copper Spice palette from Morphe, and I'm using a warm dark brown in the crease. I'm also using a small blending brush just so I can have control over where I place it. Now I'm tapping into this warm orange shade and blending out any harsh edges with a large fluffy brush. Moving on to the lid, I am using the same eyeshadow primer that I had in the beginning, and I'm using it to carve out the lid space. This step is completely optional. Originally, I wanted to do a dramatic cut crease, but that didn't really work out, so I decided to just keep this as part of the video so you can see how I did it. Now, I did find that if you have a smaller lid space, it's going to be great so that you can actually see the color and you don't bring it down so low. Then to further define the crease, I'm going in with a darker brown. And I'm using the same blending brush that I used in the beginning, which is very tiny, just to make sure that it's super precise. Once I have that color in, then I'm going in with the second darkest color in the palette with a smaller pencil brush just to define it even more. Make sure not to use too much of the color. We just want a little definition, nothing too intense. And blend out any harsh edges along the way as well. Now for the lid, I'm going in with this Makeup Forever Starlit powder, and oh my goodness, I need to pick up more because they're so pigmented. I used a little Fix Plus just to make it more dramatic, but I don't even think I needed it, to be honest. It did get messy, but that's exactly why we do our eyes first, so we can clean it up later. This is the part where I was telling you about earlier too. This is exactly when I decided not to do the cut crease and just do a regular smoky eye. Now I'm using a clean blending brush just to get rid of any harsh lines. This look is all about blending, so feel free to blend as much as you can until your hand falls off, because that is key. Now I'm going in with the first warm brown shade that we used earlier, and I'm just putting that in the crease because it may have gotten a little lost in transition. Now I'm just going in with a makeup removing wipe just to get rid of some of the fallout. This is again another reason why we do the eyes first and then the face. As if the blue eyeshadow wasn't enough, I just went ahead and added some blue glitter from the Urban Decay Moon Dust palette. Then I just wanted to define the eyes with a little liquid liner. I know I didn't do a wing, which is crazy for me because I'm always doing a wing. I used some mascara again just to prep the lashes so that when the falsies go on, they look perfect. For falsies, I used the Flutter lashes in Intoxicating, and boy, were these dramatic. They were giving me such a hard time applying them, but I managed to somehow put them on. It looks like it was easy, but it really wasn't. I definitely struggled. Now I'm just combining both the real and the false lashes together, just to make them look a little more natural. Going back with the palette, I'm just using the same brown shade just to intensify the crease. You're never done blending, are you? This is one of my favorite tips that someone actually had shown me, is to use a little translucent powder and a fluffy brush just to get rid of those harsh edges. And I don't know about you, but I love using blush as a transition shade as well. I'm just going super extra with the rest of the look, as you can see, but it made it work. For the face, I'm using the Smashbox Priming Water, as well as the original Smashbox Primer, just to get the face nice and poreless. For foundation, I'm using one of my faves, the Makeup Forever Foundation Stick, and I'm applying a little bit more because I do want to get that full coverage effect. And blend, blend, blend. I was trying to get rid of that pimple that you could see. For concealer, I'm using the Shape Tape. I love this. I know it's raved about on YouTube so much. People are probably tired, but it really is that good. I'm also using a little bit of MAC Light Boost just for that highlighted effect. How cool. I never really cream contour, but I decided to do it anyway this time around. And I'm using the new NARS concealer, and it was great. It blended super easily. which is very hard when it comes to cream contour. So if you're having a hard time using that, I definitely suggest trying this one out. I'm using it to also contour the nose a little bit. I don't go too dramatic because I just feel like it might look a little crazy on me, so I just do a little bit on the nose and also just a tiny bit under the lip to give us the powder effect. And of course, I'm using my trusty beauty blender to blend everything out. I was so impressed with how easily everything blended. Once you've blended away all of the cream products, now you can go ahead and use a translucent powder just to set everything in place. I'm using the Laura Mercier powder again because it's so amazing, and I'm oily, so this is like one of the very few powders that actually keeps me matte. I'm also using it to carve out the contour to make it a little bit more dramatic. I have larger cheeks, so any little bit can help. Now I'm using a foundation powder just to set all the other areas, as well as get rid of that little bakage that we had going on. I don't like to leave it there for too long because I find that it can give me a white cast if I do. For bronzer, I'm using this one from Hourglass, which I love because it gives me a really pretty sun-kissed look. And the contour goes really nicely on top as well. For contour, I'm using this one from Anastasia, and I'm just mixing in the two darker shades. I like to hold it at the end because I find that the brush applies it a little bit softer. I don't want any crazy lines. Now I'm going in with a smaller brush just to give a little bit of definition on the nose, as well as under the lip. For blush, I'm going in with the Tarte Risque blush that we used earlier on the eyes. And apply as little or as much as you'd like. Now for my favorite part, I got to use the NICOLE GUERRIERO Glow Kit, which was amazing. I was really scared because it did look a little glittery, but it blended really nicely on the skin. I'm using Glow Getter and 143 as well as Lit. Now this color I probably should have used less. I did go a little heavy-handed, but this is exactly what you do when you get a new highlight. I can't be the only one. I'm blending it all out just to make sure that I don't have any harsh edges. Now I'm just going in with a concealer to carve out my brows. I wanted them to look a little bit cleaner than they were. I was having such a bad brow day this day, but I made it work. I used my beauty blender to blend it out. I could have done this step before I applied all the powders, but I didn't. So that's something I'll do next time. And I'm also going in with some brow powder from Anastasia. This shade is in soft brown, I believe. And I love it because it gives me a really natural brow. I didn't want anything too harsh because the eyes were already screaming bold. So softer brows were better. And I'm just using that to fill it in all the way through and using the spoolie to blend it out. On the lower lash line, I'm going in with the darker brown that we've been using this whole time. And I'm also using Lit from the Glow Kit for the inner corner. This was such a pretty color, and I didn't realize that there was a little bit of the blue eyeshadow still there, so they blended out and made a beautiful icy blue shade, and it was great. And this step is completely optional. You can either go in with a black eyeliner. I decided to use this one, and it was like a liquid gold, so it was really pretty, just to give it some extra oomph. And again, with a pencil brush, just using that brown to define it some more. I also highlighted the brow bone with one of the lighter shades in the palette. For the lips, I didn't want to use anything too dark or too light, so I opted for something in between. I'm going in with this lip liner from MAC in the shade Hover. And I'm lining my lips as well as filling it in. And then I'm going in with Creme de Nude from MAC. It was the first time I used it, and it wasn't super pigmented, so I don't know. I probably will try it with something else next time. To top it off, I used Skinny Dip from Jouer just to give us that wet look. And I'm deepening up our contour from earlier, as well as making sure that everything is super blended and that there are no harsh lines. I'm now setting the face with Mist and Fix from Makeup Forever. I'm also using a little bit more of the glitter from the Urban Decay palette, just to give us some oomph, because why not? And that pretty much completes the look. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section and give me some more ideas to film for the next time. Bye!